Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I am Aamaan, and in our Great Speeches series today, we look at an address by Hindu Mahasabha leader Syama Prasad Mookerjee, who went on to serve as a minister in Prime Minister Nehru's cabinet and later resigned to form the Bharatiya Jana Sangh. He delivered this address on 20th September 1946 in the Bengal Legislative Assembly. This was during a no confidence motion moved against the Muslim League ministry headed by H.S. Sohrawardy over the Great Calcutta Killings. The communal riots erupted in Calcutta on 16th August 1946 and raged for several days, killing thousands of people across communities. They were sparked by the Muslim League's call for Direct Action Day to demand a separate Muslim homeland. So, why revisit this speech now? Director Vivek Agnihotry's film, The Bengal Files, which is based on the Great Calcutta Killings, released earlier this month, triggering a political row between the Trinamool Congress and the BJP in West Bengal. This makes it important to revisit what Mookerjee said after the riots in the Bengal Assembly. Mookerjee began by highlighting the brutality of the riots. He said, and I quote, "Sir, since yesterday we have been discussing the motions of no confidence under circumstances which perhaps have no parallel in the deliberations of any legislature in any part of the civilized world. What happened in Calcutta is without a parallel in modern history. St. Bartholomew's Day, of which history records some grim events of murder and butchery, pales into insignificance compared to the brutalities that were committed in the streets, lanes and by-lanes of this first city of British India. We have been discussing, sir, as to the genesis of these disturbances. Time will not permit me to go through the detailed history and course of events during the last few years." End quote. Mookerjee then went on to emphasize that the riots did not start spontaneously and tried to trace the cause. He said, "But let me say this, that what has happened is not the result of a sudden explosion, but it is the culmination of an administration inefficient, corrupt and communal, which has disfigured the life of this great province. But so far as the immediate cause is concerned, rightly reference has been made by members belonging to the Muslim League and also to the opposition that we have to look at the resolution that was passed at the Bombay at the All India session of the Council of the Muslim League. Now what happened there? It is said on behalf of the Muslim League that the cabinet mission proved faithless to Muslim interests and thereby created a situation which had no parallel in the history of Anglo-Muslim relationship in this country. What did actually the cabinet mission do? The Muslim League, the spoilt and pampered child of the British imperialist for the last 30 years, was disowned for the first time by the British Labour government. Sir, the fact remains that the old policy of the British government of no advancement without a Congress Muslim League agreement was for the first time given up in 1946. Now, the fact remains that the Muslim League was bypassed and the interim government has been formed at the centre. Supposing Mr. Jinnah had been asked to form the interim government without the Congress, would my friends belonging to the Muslim League have then blamed the government for having betrayed the interests of the Hindu community? Sir, what happened after the Bombay resolution? I have before me a summary of the speeches delivered by distinguished spokesmen on behalf of the Muslim League in every part of India, and although it was said that the Direct Action Day itself was not the day for commencing direct action, it was at the same time pointed out that the war had begun. The days of peace and compromise were over, and now the jihad, war against everyone who did not accept Pakistan. That has been made abundantly clear." End quote. Mookerjee then argued that the British were not against the Muslim League, but instead showed favoritism toward it. He said, "Muslim leaders want civil war. Only a pattern of civil war, according to Mr. Jinnah, was witnessed in this very city of Calcutta. But whether civil war will ultimately help Muslims to get Pakistan or not is a matter that remains yet to be seen. It is said that British imperialists are against the Muslim League. Why talk rot in this way? Who gave you separate electorate and communal award? Who is helping the Sindh ministry to remain in power? Is not the governor a British governor? Are not the 3 European members of the Sindh Assembly British members of that house? Are they not trying their level best somehow to keep the Muslim League in power and not allow the Congress to go to office, although among the Indian members they are in a majority?" End quote. Mookerjee went on to accuse the Muslim League leaders of inciting violence through articles and statements in newspapers. He said, I shall not refer to the detailed speeches which have been delivered by the Muslim League leaders, barring one or two illustrative remarks. When Mr. Jinnah was confronted at a pre-conference in Bombay on the 31st July and was asked whether direct action involved violence or non-violence, his cryptic reply was, "I am not going to discuss ethics." But Khwaja Nazimuddin was not so good. He came out very bluntly in Bengal and he said that Muslims did not believe in non-violence at all. Muslims knew what direct action meant, and there were 101 ways in which this was made clear by responsible league leaders. One said in Punjab that the 0 hour had struck and that the war had begun. All this was followed by a series of articles and statements which appeared in the columns of newspapers, the Morning News, the Star of India and the Azad. If you read those documents, particularly I would ask my friend Mr. Isfani, if he reads those documents, he will be able to find out that there was nothing but open and direct incitement to violence. Hatred of Hindus and jihad on the Hindu were declared in highly charged language. That was the background. I am not going to quote the papers, for I have not the time. You have read them and the general Muslim public have acted according to the instructions." End quote. Mookerjee concluded by calling for a plan that allows Muslims and Hindus to live together in peace and oppose the idea of Pakistan. He said, "Now, sir, if it is said that civil war will break out throughout India, will that help anyone? Will that help in particular 25% Muslims throughout India as against 75% of Hindus and other non-Muslims? It is not a question of threat at all. It is a question of facing a stern reality. Either we have to fight or we have to come to some settlement. The settlement cannot be reached so long as you say that one community will dominate over the other. But it can only be achieved by a plan which will enable the vast majority of Hindus and Muslims to live under circumstances which will give freedom and peace to the common man. After all, forget not who suffered most during the Calcutta killing. It was mainly the poorer people, both among the Hindus and the Muslims. 90% of them were poor and innocent, and if the leaders lose their heads and go creating a situation which they cannot ultimately control, the time will soon come when the common man will turn round and crush the leaders instead of being themselves crushed. It is therefore vitally necessary that this false and foolish idea of Pakistan or Islamic rule has to be banished forever from your head. In Bengal, we have to live together. We say as a condition precedent, this ministry must go. Only then can we create a state of affairs which will make it possible to build a future Bengal which will be for the good of all, irrespective of any caste, creed or community." End quote. Thank you for joining us on Great Speeches. For more from The Print, become a subscriber at theprint.in/subscribe. I am Aamaan in Delhi.